I believe by the time you're watching this that we are probably within 2 to 3 weeks tops of Apple's September event. Typically one of the more highly anticipated events, especially considering the production value, us video nerds, we want to see it, but also the products that come out.
Yeah.
And we've definitely talked in spurts about probably each one of these things, but we're just going to put it all in one place. This is all the stuff that we're expecting and maybe hoping for at this September event.
Yeah, it's like the just the guide to get ready for the Apple event in September, which I think a lot of tech people see as kind of like the big peak of the craziness.
This is the spike that starts all of the spikes.
Yeah.
Asterisk, Apple might do like 2 or 3 events to close out this year.
It seems like that's what they're doing more often.
Yeah, like I don't think we're going to see a Mac Pro anytime at this event. I don't think we're going to see iPad-related stuff at this event. I think it's just going to be a few things. Probably, I guess we'll just say it. I think it's going to be iPhone 14 and related things. And if anything else, Apple Watch and AirPods. Am I missing anything? I think
yeah, I actually haven't. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things. Mark Gurman is usually the person that I follow in these senses. So like I've basically written down a lot of things that Mark is predicting. I did not see an AirPods, but you never know with AirPods. They could just be releasing some new features, small updates, stuff like that. I think right now the rumored launch event is September 7th.
Right, which would be like
about a week and a half from the release of this episode.
All of my predictions about this stuff, I get. This is so funny. It's like evergreen advice. I get people asking me like, hey, I just broke my phone. Should I buy the new iPhone now? And I just tell them like, well, typically September the new iPhones come out. And they're like, oh, that's really good advice. Because people tend to either forget or not really think about it too hard. Most people don't buy a new iPhone every year. But it's like clockwork. It's always been like September 12th. I think I've flown on September 11th for like 4 years in a row. Because it's always the Apple event is either right before or right after that date.
I was guessing the 14th because it seems to be Wednesday a lot, and I think it's been on the 14th or 15th is what I always remember in my head. So I would have guessed the week after, but it also wouldn't surprise me if it was a week sooner.
It could move a whole week.
Yeah,
cool. But yeah, we're gonna definitely see some iPhone 14 stuff, so we can start with that. I have made 2 videos during the course of this year about iPhone 14 possibilities. One of them being, what if this phone peaks and it uses the same silicon as last year, the same A15 Bionic?
Interesting.
And only the Pro iPhones get a silicon upgrade. And then the other being the pill cutouts, the design being slightly different at the top. Yeah. And then the possibility of getting rid of the ports, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think actually the biggest one, and we have talked about this in the past, is no mini, but having a standard Max. And I actually think that is awesome. Like, it is, to me, one of those things where I don't know how I've never thought about that being a thing, because we've always, like, I guess in the past they have had just the regular and the Max, but then once they broke the Pro line always had the Max.
Yeah.
And it always seemed kind of crazy to, like, have to buy it, spend way more money to buy into this, like, new camera and a bunch of really niche different things.
Just to get a bigger screen.
Yeah, exactly. But people like bigger screens. We see it in every single smartphone that comes out.
Every product that comes out. Yeah. Like TVs, if you can just get the bigger version of the same TV, you don't need a bunch of extra features. Most people will do that.
Yeah.
So facts, I think this new lineup having a 14 Max, a 14 Pro, and a 14 Pro Max, I think that 14 Max is going to be the one that just goes bonkers, that everyone wants to buy. That's going to be the big one this year.
Yeah, I see it as being like, sorry, I missed that. Thank you for,
literally.
I think this is going to be the lineup that just like generates the most sales, because it is like giving you that option. We haven't seen pricing yet, so I really wonder what 14 Max plus 14 Pro, how close those will be, or if even potentially around the same price.
I can guess.
Okay, let me finish this thought and then we'll guess on it. I think like this lineup is going to be the one that potentially sells the most, but that mini beforehand was the one that had like the super loyal dedicated ones. I don't think there's going to be like the iPhone 14 Max is like the coolest phone ever and like the loyalness of it, but Apple cares way more about sales than they do about the loyal mini buyers.
Yeah, I think the mini buyers are also, it was a small loyal group.
Exactly.
So it's discontinued because that group, while they are loyal, isn't big enough to justify keeping the mini around.
Yeah.
So if I was guessing prices, and this is just the way I'm pairing together like the stuff coming from the rumors and what Mark Gurman's saying, and then just what makes sense based on logic. I think the iPhone 14 baseline starts at what the old Mini started at. So I guess $699.
So that would be a bump down.
It would be a bump down, but it's basically the same phone as the 13 because it's using the same chip. It might have some updated camera stuff.
We think it's using the same chip. We haven't.
Yeah, this is all what we think.
Yeah.
We think it's probably using the same silicon. And so
People definitely think you know something now that we made that flip. We do not.
I don't have any of this stuff. I don't know. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm going from the information. But yeah, I think they can bump down the price, and then it'll go $699, $799, $899. Sorry, $799, $899, $999, $1099. So $799 is iPhone 14,
Okay.
which is where the Mini was before. Then $899 is iPhone 14 Max. $999 is iPhone 14 Pro. $1099 is iPhone 14 Pro Max. Pros get 120 hertz ProMotion. They're still going to ship $800 phones with 60 hertz screens. They're just going to do it again. And no one's going to bat an eye.
Exactly. Like we are the people that are upset with that, and it makes no difference.
I will complain about it, and I will get heat for complaining about it. And iPhone people will go, nobody cares. And I'll go, I care. And they'll go, well, you're alone. And it's just
It's
what
fine.
happens.
It's our job. We like for high refresh rate.
Yeah.
We are allowed to nitpick at things that happen, whether the general public likes it or not. Like that's fine. Most of the people who aren't watching our videos are going to go into a store and try it in their hands, and they're going to see if that feels weird or not.
Yeah.
But if it is those prices, which I would kind of bet with you, that's an awesome lineup. If you take the regular one and knock it down now, that's a sick lineup.
So the question will be, will the pros be worth getting? And I think the answer will be, how badly do you want the extra camera and LiDAR and that whole thing? Maybe there's a whole upgraded camera system just on the pros. Maybe there's a 50 megapixel sensor or something crazy just on the pros. ProMotion, that 120 hertz display, the new upgraded silicon just being in the Pro phones, and then potentially a new design, getting rid of the notch and turning it into like the pill cutouts or hole punches instead of the notch.
That is one thing I wanted to talk about. From what I read, it seems like only the pros are getting the pill cutout.
Potentially, yeah.
And it's a pill cutout plus a regular cutout, it seems to be.
Right, so it's Face ID. And so in order to have Face ID work, you need both the webcam and also the IR blaster and reader. It's more than one cutout up there.
Yeah.
But the cheaper phones, cheaper in air quotes, will still have the notch. They'll be just like the 13. They will be just like the 13.
Just there's basically a Max
Just
version.
one with a bigger screen. Yeah.
I still think it's a good lineup. I think it's interesting. I like the fact that because in the past there have been times where I had a hard time recommending the 13 Pro over the 13 because they felt so close together with like a decent
13
price
Pro.
bump.
Yeah.
Like the two standard size ones. It felt, you got an extra camera and like ProMotion. Even before you didn't, in the 12, you didn't even get ProMotion, right? You just they were almost the same phone. So differentiating that a little bit, I do wonder if that means there could be more of a price bump between the two. You have them starting at about $100 off of each other from the Max to the regular, which I guess more is like a 200 jump in terms of comparing direct sizes.
Yeah. I just think Apple is actively looking for ways to separate and distinguish the Pro from the non-Pro. Where you're right, like a lot of people looked at the Pro and went, I don't really need any of that. ProMotion and an extra camera, like I don't care.
Yeah.
But if you get like a little bit more, like a new different design, an updated hole punch design, and upgraded chip, like faster phone maybe, and a better camera, and maybe a bigger battery, like suddenly you're adding, like you're like, all right, maybe I'll spend more money on the Pro because it's a better phone. But the 14 Max is probably going to be a sweet spot. Here's my question. What's the difference between an iPhone 13 and an iPhone 14? If they don't change the cameras, if they don't change the notch, if they don't change the chip, is it just a new color? Are they going to change the shape?
That was the question I wanted to ask is what new color are we going to get?
We're going to get some
We've had two
orange
It
color
went green, blue, green, right? Like we had the
sapphire?
like forest green on the 12. Then we had the like blues on the 13. Sorry. Green on 11. Blue on 11, 12,
blue on 12.
And then a different green
like
on 13.
Military green on 13.
So I would wonder if we go back to like a blue again? I'm already confusing myself.
No warm colors? I kind of like the Pro special colors. I like that like light blue Pacific.
Yeah.
Well, not Pacific. That was the dark blue. I forgot the name, but I like the Pro's colors. Anyway, yeah, what's the difference between those phones? I don't know.
I'm not totally sure. Beats me. I'm trying to think of something, but I can't really think of what it could be.
I don't think Apple has any problem with them being almost the same phone. I just think it'll be hilarious when they're almost the same exact phone.
And all those people that you told to wait till September but will be really mad when they want to get the standard iPhone.
Well, none of those people have a 13.
Okay,
all those people have older phones,
Fair.
and they're like, I just broke my iPhone 10 or whatever.
All right, welcome to the Clips channel outro. This week we got this new microphone for earbone testing, and it's like an ASMR ear set. So we're gonna Clips outro with this. So I'm gonna put it down.
How's your left ear doing?
How's your right ear doing? How are you doing, Marques?
I'm good.
We're just having a conversation through people's ears. Ooh, that sounds good.
I think that sounded better in this mic.
Ooh. What else? This is what we hear. This is how our audio technicians creak.
Actually.
So this is what we're hearing during the podcast now. Oh, look. You are now a podcast member.
Hey, take your headphones off. Hey, take your headphones off.
Hit the like button. Subscribe.
Wow,
It's good. It's really creepy. Now you know what it feels like. Now you know what it feels like to be part of the Waveform podcast.